I really like the idea of going through the kind of back of house to front of house experience of drag, and that might work really well in the space itself. So using the space as the kind of, there's one half is the back of house and one half is the front of house. Obviously looking at the kind of, needing to include making, designing, so looking at the kind of different styles of drag, the garments, the fashion and the designers, and obviously looking at the kind of body, undergarments modification, so the kind of padding, underwear, kind of physical process of the kind of body, the changing body in that kind of back of house experience. Something that you don't normally see as part of the process. Looking at the tools, so the kind of the physical tools, so makeup, wigs. We talked a little bit about confidence being a tool as well, so the kind of intangible tools in that way. And so that experience, how that kind of preparatory stage, what that would look like in the space, so physically splitting the space with some kind of theatre curtain in some way and kind of cutting through. So I really like the idea of a kind of stages of drag, of kind of getting ready on mannequins, kind of moving through the space and cutting through this curtain in the middle, so then you're kind of presented with final drag at one side.
And sorry, the other thing I was thinking of is, I just wonder if there's a slight separation between this history and origins bit from back of house.
Yes, so that's we talked about it being something that kind of, it in some way it runs through the whole space, because it underpins that whole experience where that comes from. But it's not, the kind of the making, designing, the body and the tools are very kind of distinct areas in that kind of getting ready bit, and the history origins is kind of running, it's the thread that runs through that whole back of house side of things. In the way that we were looking at the kind of front of house side of things, the thing that runs through that whole space is we were looking at language and terminology and how that's changed kind of through time.
In the back of house as well, have you got movement, gesture?
Yeah, I mean, that would probably move into the performance. Yeah, so we're looking, the front of house, we're kind of looking at spaces, so kind of traditionally famous venues for drag, the kind of the British pub, the RuPaul stage, theatre, ballroom. And also, again, this links to that kind of, I suppose the different feelings associated with, so we're looking at the kind of joy, fun elements, so queer joy, styles of drag, the kind of aesthetic, lifestyle element of the art form, and then moving on to the kind of performance side of things, so the kind of the physical stage dressing, the styles of performance, the different props that are used. And I suppose, again, that in terms of the visitor, the feeling of the visitor, that how to draw out in some way the feeling that the performer wants their audience to feel. So that different kind of performance styles will have evoke different feelings in the audience. And how we do that with the visitors that are kind of walking through the space. The element or the thread that's kind of underpinning this front of house side, we thought might be a useful place to kind of explore the terminology and the language, something that from an access point of view, that might be a kind of a point of fear for some visitors that don't know what language to use, because language is ever changing and evolving. And so looking at how there's kind of specific language used within the drag community, but also how the changing nature of terminology, just to kind of give people that sense of, I suppose, comfort in knowing that they don't need to know everything, and you can learn and change as you kind of move through the space.
This is extraordinary. I mean, it's an amazing amount and some lovely ideas. One of the first things I'm thinking of is terminology and language something that as a visitor it would be useful to be equipped with up front?
Yes, that is something that we wondered about, and how we kind of, again, because it's nice to have these kind of, each section's got three distinct things, and then there's a clear thread running through those three distinct things, but that is something that we wondered, because it does link also to the kind of historical context side of things as well.
If I went to an exhibition, I would almost expect to start with the historic and work forward. And I'm just wondering if there's a place for the history and the origins, and there's a place for it within the story, but also because the people you're working with are asking for it.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if this is a more exciting starting point.
Yeah.
And a more unexpected starting point, and something. This feels more contemporary to me. Yeah, it might be a little bit more challenging.
Mm-hmm.